some famous books and maybe some others not so famous. And in case you didn't know what a book blurb was, it is essentially a little synopsis of the story that you usually find on the back of books. And we're gonna be reading a couple of those today. This is sort of like a random idea I wanted to try out. And since this was sort of like something I haven't seen done before, and I'm sort of like testing it out, I'm just gonna be doing a couple books, um, maybe around five or maybe four, who knows. But I do hope you guys end up enjoying this video. If you do, please let me know in the comment section below. And please, like always, thank you so much. Let's get into some reading. So the first book is actually a favorite of mine, and it's called Invisible Man. And in case you can see, my copy is a little messed up, but we gonna make it work. But I've had this book for quite some time now. It actually belonged to my brother. And funny story, in college, I had to do like I guess, report on this book, and me being sort of a lazy college kid, I didn't actually read the book all the way through. When I was doing a report, I sort of just found like I forgot what you call it, but I basically found like a lot of summaries and information, and I went by that, and I was so convincing that I actually got an A on the project, even though I didn't actually read the book. It wasn't until later that I read the book on my own, and I realized like this book is actually amazing. So, funny story. So, we're gonna be reading the blurb that's on the back of this book. So, here we go. A book of the very first order. A superb book. Saul Bellow. I hope I said that right. First published in 1952, and immediately hailed as a masterpiece, Invisible Man is one of those rare novels that have changed the shape of American literature. For not only does Ralph Ellison nightmare journey across the racial divide tell unparalleled truths about the nature of bigotry and its effects on the minds of both victims and perpetrators. It gives us an entirely new model of what a novel can be. As he journeys from the Deep South to the streets and basements of Harlem, from a horrifying battle royal where black men are reduced to fighting animals, to a communist rally where they are elevated to the status of trophies, Ralph Ellison's nameless protagonist ushers readers into a parallel universe that throws our own into harsh and even hilarious relief. Suspenseful and sardonic, narrated in a voice that takes in the symphonic I can't really say that word symphonic range of the American language, black and white. Invisible Man is one of the most audacious and dazzling novels of our century. So, I think this book, not only is it my favorite book, but if I can be biased, I think this book has one of the best first chapters known to man. Like, the first chapter of this book is wild. If you haven't read it yet, you don't even have to look up the book itself. If you look up The Battle Royal by Ralph Ellison, that's the first chapter of this book, and I believe it originated as like a short story or something like that, and then it got worked into this book. I could be totally wrong on that, but yeah, look up The Battle Royal. It's really good. That first chapter is something else. But let's move on to the next book. Got it. It's Richard Ford's Independence Day. Now, I actually haven't read this book. I don't have a lot of but there's quite a few books in my closet that I never actually read, and I think it's because like over I used to read quite a bit, but over time as I got older, my attention span just got lower and lower. So I just eventually stopped reading altogether. I try to read every now and then. I try to read for more like information and stuff like that. But for like books and stuff like that, I just never really got back into the habit. So this is totally new for me. So we're gonna read the blurb for Independence Day. Winner of the PEN Faulkner Award for Fiction, Independence Day is the confirmation of a talent as strong and varied as American fiction has to offer. Elizabeth Hardwick, The New York Review of Books. In this visionary sequel to The Sports Writer, Richard Ford deepens his portrait of one of the most unforgettable characters in American fiction, and in so doing gives us an indelible portrait of America. Frank Boscombe? I hope I said that right. In the aftermath of his divorce and the ruin of his career, has entered an existence period, selling real estate in Haddam, New Jersey, and mastering the high wire act of normalcy. But over one 4th of July weekend, Frank is called into sudden, bewildering engagement with life. Independence Day is a moving, peerlessly funny odyssey through America and through the layered consciousness of one of its most compelling literary incarnations. Conducted by a novelist of astonishing empathy and perception. Sounds really interesting. I didn't know this is actually a sequel to another book. Maybe one day, if I ever get the chance, I'll have to read both this book and the prequel to this one. So, sounds pretty cool. Pretty cool. So, let's move on to the next book. So, this one is called The Chocolate War. I actually read a little bit of this book. Maybe like the first 2 to 3 chapters, but for some reason I never finished it. Even though I did like what I read, it was a little interesting. It was engaging. I just never really got into finishing it. But this is by Robert Cormier. Am I saying that right? Robert Cormier. I'm butchering all these names. I'm so sorry, but it is what it is. So we're gonna read the blurb for The Chocolate War. The Chocolate War. Jerry Renault. I can't pronounce names today. Jerry Renault is pondering the question of the poster in his locker. Do I dare disturb the universe? Refusing to sell chocolates in the annual Trinity School fundraiser may not seem like a radical thing to do. But when Jerry challenges a secret school society called the Vigils, his defiant act turns into an all-out war. Now the only question is, who will survive? That's a really good I like that blurb, because it sounds really the concept sounds so strange but interesting in a way, you know. Refusing to sell the chocolates that turns out to an all-out war. I just find that really fascinating. So maybe one day I'll get back into reading this book. Maybe I'll finish this book one day, but today is not that day. So let's move on to the next book. So this is going to be the final book for this video. This is The Things They Carry by Tim O'Brien. This is actually a book I actually finished, and I finished this a couple years ago. And before we can even get into the blurb, because the blurb pretty sure will tell you everything you need to know, but this is about war and how affects the mind of someone. And this book is heavy. I'm not gonna lie, this is a very heavy book. But I don't want to say too much before we get into the blurb. So let's go ahead and just read the blurb for Tim O'Brien's The Things They Carried. The powerful and enduring work of fiction about men in war, more than 1 million copies in print. Impressive. They carry malaria tablets, love letters, 20-pound mine detectors, dope, illustrated Bibles, each other, and if they made it home alive. They carry unrelenting images of the nightmarish war that history is only beginning to absorb. Since its first publication, The Things They Carry has become an unparalleled Vietnam testament, a classic work of American literature, and a profound study of men at war that illuminates the capacity and the limits of the human heart and soul. The best of these stories, and none is written with less than a sharp edge of home vision, are memory and prophecy. These tell us not where we were, but where we are, and perhaps where we will be. Richard Eder, Los Angeles Times. The Things They Carry is as good as any piece of literature can get. It is controlled, wild, deep, and tough, perceptive, and shrewd. Chicago Sun-Times. Tim O'Brien's passion and memory may have been his torment all these years, but they also been his gift. This is prose headed for the nerve center of what was Vietnam, the Boston Globe. You got to read this book. He's right, you really got to read this book. In a world filled too often with numbness or shifting values, these stories shine in a strange and opposite direction. Moving against the flow, illuminating life's wonder. Dallas Morning News. The Things They Carry won France's prestigious I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that. It's like some sort of French award. I'm not sure. I can't pronounce it. I'm not doing it. And the Chicago Tribune's Harlan Prize. It was also the finalist for the Pulitzer Prize and the National Book Critics Circle Award. This book, I'm telling you, it's one of my favorites. I love this book because, like, the way he can take just simple objects and apply so meaning to them based on, like, the characters that the objects relate to. I think it's like one of the most brilliant pieces of writing like I ever seen. Because like each item holds weight and it holds value, but it also holds like a deeper meaning. And as someone who like wanted to be a writer growing up, right? Those are one of the things that I struggled with as a writer, is like making everything seem valuable, no matter how minute it can seem on the surface, you know? And, you know, I just wish I had that sort of skill. I'm not gonna lie. I'm hating a little bit. I'm gonna be honest. But no, seriously, if you haven't read this book, The Things They Carry, this is a good book. Really good book. You guys should check this out. But that's gonna do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm not sure if this was ever done by anybody else, but if they had, let me know, because I actually would like to watch some of these kinds of videos. I think people reading books and stories on video for ASMR is actually really cool, and I would like to do it more myself. Now, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to read chapters out of a book, like famous books, you know. I'm not sure if there's any like DMCA or copyright issues with that. So I figured with this, I'll just take a chance and see what happens. But that's gonna do it for this video. I appreciate you guys so much. As always, if you liked this video, remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And please let me know if you'd like to see more of this kind of content in the future, or comment below any general ideas you would like to see me try out. As always, it's been your boy Disco Wonderland, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.